listen to yourself. No matter what, always listen to yourself. Always listen to your intuition. Your intuition is what's going to guide you to having that successful life, to getting with that person that you've always wanted to be with, to having that missing rib of yours, right? But when you listen to other people and you allow them to control your life, no matter who they are, that is when I feel like the worst happens. There's only two people that should truly rule your life, and that is yourself and God. Other than that, nobody should be ruling your life. Obviously, I'm not saying don't listen to anybody. Take people's advice, have, consider what they're saying, even take and maybe even act on what they're saying. But the moment you give your life up to someone else and you start just living for someone else and not for God or yourself, that is when I feel like the worst happens. That's when you become unfulfilled. So you might think that's kind of like a bad example, and like you might think that's maybe a little selfish, but like let me actually explain what I'm saying here. So like, let's say for example, your goal in life is to start a business. Pretty, I think, maybe a little bit on the popular side. That's like a big one you hear nowadays, business, right? Let's say your big goal is to go start your own business, and then everybody on the outside world tells you, no, it's not a good idea, it's super risky, you're gonna hate your life afterwards, and then let's say you never even try it. Now you're gonna always live in that regret and not know what your life could have been if you would actually just listen to yourself. So that's what I mean by rule your own life, right? I'm not saying don't listen to the people at all. I'm just saying, take everything they're saying into consideration. If you feel like they have a good point and their point is better than yours, then sure, then choose their decision over yours. But if there's something in your intuition, your gut, that truly tells you that, man, this is something I really got to go after, or man, this girl or this guy is somebody that's just different, I have to pursue, then it's best to listen to that. But when you have, let's say you have a really good girl in your life, you have a really good guy in your life, you think he's the potential of being like a husband, wife, something like that, that is when that's good, right? Your intuition's telling you that it's someone you pursue, but then you'll hear outside voices telling you, reminding you of every negative thing, telling you that it's not gonna work, things like that. So that's like, let's say like you had an amazing person in your life, but everybody in the outside world told you that no, it's not like that, it's actually the opposite, and it's not good. And then you listen to them, and then you miss out on your future husband, your future wife, your missing road forever, all because you wanted to listen to other people and not your intuition. So that's what I mean by listen to yourself. Take what people say into consideration, but understand that you have to live your own life. You have to take control of your own life. You can't let other people take control of it for you. And I think most of the time we see this in like parents. Like there's a lot of parents out there that force college upon their kids. And let's say like their kid doesn't want to go to college. They force that on them, or they'll threaten things. Like they'll threaten to kick you out, stuff like that. They don't support your dreams or what you want to do with your life. And like I said, it's fine. And that's when you just have to understand that it's not their life, it's yours. And I feel like that is when you truly start becoming more fulfilled and happier, is when you take control of your own life. That is a good thing. Because just imagine you had like this amazing woman, amazing man in your life, right? And everything in your gut was telling you this is the one. And then let's say that maybe you're not so independent, right? You depend on everyone's opinion. You listen to what everybody says. And let's say that your parents and maybe your brothers, maybe your friends come up and tell you that, no, it's not as good as it seems. There's definitely something behind the scenes. And you listen, just to find out later down the line that your gut was telling you the truth the whole time. And because you didn't want to trust yourself, you trusted others over yourself. That's how you got hurt. And now you just missed out on the greatest opportunity of your life. So that's exactly what I mean by listen to yourself. There's only you know what you want. Only you know what is best for you. The only thing other people can do is just give you opinions, right? So ultimately, you just gotta take control. Just because other people don't necessarily agree with what you have to say doesn't mean that you should necessarily listen to them. Just listen to yourself. there's been many times where people have told me their opinions on things doesn't align with mine. I don't think that by listening to them that it's going to make my life better. In fact, I think it'll make my life worse. And when you understand that, you need to trust yourself over other people. That's when I think your life becomes a lot better. It's when you rely on others to fill that, fill that void inside of you. That's when it's not great. That's why I tell you, rely on yourself, rely on others. And honestly, when you do find that missing rib, that's when you have that other person to rely on. I know nowadays a lot of people kind of like talk about how real couples and real stuff don't exist. They always talk about bros, and girls always talk about homegirl, or whatever. But the truth is, significant other is going to be your most important person. This is a fact. Nobody else is going to be able to give you kids. Nobody else is going to be able to give you that feeling. That's like the one person that truly has a different feeling from everybody else, is a significant other, a real significant other. Not just you're dating to have fun. I mean like the one. That is the only person that's going to give you that different feeling. And that's going to be the most important person in your life. And I think when you do find that person, hold them tightly, appreciate them to the max, and then you can rely on them. And then that means you can rely on only 3 people in your life. And that is yourself, her, him, and God. Those are the 3 people that you can truly rely on. And like I said, when you really find your missing rib, not just who you think is the one because your heart tells you that. No, what does your intuition tell you? Is there something off? Is there something weird? And sometimes it's all in your head too. You got to realize that as well. Like there's many times where maybe I'm talking to an amazing girl and I'll tell myself, oh, the worst is happening, and it's not. It's just a fact. But anyway, it's kind of getting off track. Always trust yourself. Always trust what your gut tells you. If you are in a bad area and your gut tells you, I need to get out of here because I feel like something bad's about to happen, you need to listen to that voice. You need to listen to your intuition. It's saying, get me out, that way I don't get hurt. And usually it's when people don't listen to that voice that's when bad things happen. So that's exactly what I mean. I'm talking about every aspect of life. When you just have that kind of like deep voice, which sometimes I do believe is God talking to you, that you need to get out, that you need to do this, that, oh, this person really is amazing and you need to understand that, and ooh, this business idea is a really good idea and I need to pursue it, or I really do need to start a YouTube channel or a TikTok. When you start listening to that voice, that's when good things happen. It's when people avoid that voice and they ignore it altogether. Like, sure, sometimes there is going to be that voice that pops in your head and it's like it's telling you every bad thing in the book, and sometimes it's not your intuition, that's either just your brain or your heart talking. Like, let's be honest, if you found the one, your heart's going to tell you, rush. I need to go as fast as possible. I got to get through this as fast as possible. And that's just not the case. But your gut is going to tell you, no, let's take it slow if we want this to be fulfilling, positive, and meaningful. Let's take this slow. So that's what I mean. Listen to your gut instead of your heart, your brain, other people, etc. But ultimately, when it comes to what you want to do with your life, who you want to be with, what do you want to do with yourself? Do you want to treat yourself with health and care and respect others? Like, that's what you do. But like, if you listen to the outside world, when you look at how everyone acts, it's going to tell you that you need to be negative about people. You need to always think the worst of people. And to me, like, you're missing out on great opportunities by doing that. Like, if I sit here and I act like I know everything, if I sit here and I act like every person out there is a terrible human, I'm going to get nowhere, because I'm living in fear for my whole life. And I'm missing out on great opportunities every single day. When I think that the worst that's going to happen, that is when, bad things happen, because you expect that. And you don't try at the good. You don't try at the positive. You don't seek the good in people. You always seek the negative. And you're just going to live a miserable life. You're never going to be able to let anyone new come in. You're never going to be able to attack any new opportunity. And it's always just going to be negative. And I'm telling you, live your life like that, you're not going to like the outcome. You're going to be just miserable. So listen to yourself. If you think you should help that person on the street, if you think you should help your friend out, if you think you should help a family member out, even if maybe you don't talk to them all the time, then go help them out. There's nothing wrong in that. And I think that's what people need to get through their head, is that being positive and being good and complimenting and helping, and what happened? Like, it used to be that thing where, you know, yes, let's do that, and now it's like looked down upon, like as if like you're losing power, or you're you're wasting too much time in people. And no, it's all our first time here on earth. I was talking to a friend of my work, and he said the exact same thing. He's like, yeah, all together, I mean, it's everybody's first time on earth, and that's just how it is. So no, there is nobody out there that knows everything. Everybody has different ideas, and that's what makes it special. But acting like you know everything is gonna get you nowhere. So, oh yeah, and different type of scenery. You know, I'm in a more peaceful place. You know, I kind of got tired of the room, the door in the background, or the LED lights, or yeah. So different type of scenery. I mean, I don't know. Oh yeah, and different hair. You know, and no, it's not gonna look like this for much longer. I'm gonna get a haircut, but I just got it highlighted. I don't know, I kind of like Jack Frost right now, but well, like I said, I'm getting a cut. But yeah, I mean, yeah, listen to yourself, be true to you, and consider what people say. Sometimes take people's advice, but if there's something telling you, like I said, your gut is telling you that, I don't think this person has my best interest in mind, or I really don't think this person knows what they're talking about, and they're just spewing opinions just to do it, then listen to that intuition. Like, ultimately, you're only gonna find out what's gonna happen when what you do with your life if you actually do it. So you might as well just do it. That way you don't regret it. It's better to get rejected by, you know, people. It's better to get rejected by that business that you started. Let's say it didn't go well, than to live your life with regret. Because think about it, you can either start the business that goes terrible, and at least you tried, and you can keep trying maybe different ideas, or you can never try, and then by the time you're old and gray, you're gonna look back at your life and be like, man, I really wish I would have just gave it some effort, just to see where it would have gone. Because what would my life look like if I would have just tried? Same thing with relationships. What would my life look like if I would have just went up to that one girl standing out there by herself? What would my life look like if I just talked to that guy and maybe gave him a compliment, and maybe that'd be the compliment he'd remember for the rest of his life? What would have happened? And you're never gonna know unless you actually just take action. So take action on your own life. I wish the best for you, and live your own life. Listen to yourself. Your intuition's gonna tell you what's best. So listen to that voice. Don't listen to the negative voice. And I wish the best for you. So, other than that, life isn't too short to make a change.